All right, here's a quickie video explaining type 1, type 2 error and how they're related. I hope this helps because it has confused me to this day. So I think the best way to think about it is if you're going to make an error on a statistical analysis, now be careful there. It's not you making the error as the researcher, it's just the way the statistical analysis works, right? It's always an act of maybe or probably. It's never purely yes, this is going to happen. So, right, remember we're trying to be as accurate as possible. So, if you're going to make an error, it will either be what we call a type 1 or type 2 error. And again, it's not you, it's the test. So, we know what alpha is, we know what beta is. Alpha is the chances of making a type 1 error. Beta are the chances of making a type 2 error. Now remember, if you make an error, it has to be one or the other. So type 1 error, again, is when you reject the null when you shouldn't have, where the null is actually true. Type 2 error is just the opposite, where you fail to reject when you should have. But this has to be true, right? Your chances of making a type 1 error plus the chances of you making a type 2 error have to equal 1. And remember, that is if your test is going to err, it will err one of these ways. So we always set alpha at 5%. In other words, you have a 5% chance of rejecting the null when in reality the null was considered true. It's just your sample size could have been weird or something. And your beta is your failure to reject the null when it was false. So again, if you're going to make an error, it has to be one of these. So these two values are, they're very, very related because when one goes up, the other one has to go down. You got it? So they have to sum up to 1. So this is where it gets weird to me personally. I know that part's true. So if I do a little bit of algebra, subtract beta from both sides, I get this. Alpha equals 1 minus beta. But then 1 minus beta is what we call power. But whenever we run these statistical analyses, when we do a power analysis, we always want a power analysis of around at least 0.8. So I think that's a different type of context for power and alpha. Maybe I could be wrong. I need somebody to explain that to me. But as far as I can tell, power is your alpha level. So let me show you how that works again, right? Alpha equals 1 minus beta. And 1 minus beta is also equal to power. So therefore, power has to equal alpha. So that part I'm still confused to this day. But just remember that when type 1 error goes up, type 2 error goes down, and vice versa. Hope this helps. MGZ, out.